showed you how to draw a landscape with a background, middle ground, and foreground. And we also used overlapping to help our picture look like it had some depth. Today I'm going to show you how to add pattern, lines, and color to your picture to add a little more interest. Alright, so I've got my picture here from the last time that we were drawing. And what you're going to do is you're either going to take crayons or markers to start going over your pencil lines. And it's actually quite okay to switch colors frequently or as often as you like. I am just not going to color. If I'm using markers, for sure, I do not want to color inside the shapes. What we're going to be doing is we're going to add some designs to some of our bigger shapes, and we are going to then later color that in. So maybe on the barn I will do some stripes of vertical lines. Can't fit too many because it's kind of a small space. Maybe I will do on the trees over here. You can do different colors because it is fall. You could do orange trees or red trees or yellow trees. Maybe this is an apple tree, so maybe the kind of pattern you would like to add to this one are some red dots. Something small like the trunk of the tree, you're not going to be able to really add pattern to. And sometimes if it's a small enough trunk, I'll just do, and I'm using a marker, I'll just sometimes fill that in because it's so small. So you can decide which you want to do. I think I'm just going to do all the trunks of my trees the same color, but I do think I want to switch up the colors for my other trees, because in fall the trees, before they lose their leaves, will change color many times. Sometimes they don't. They can even be brown. Nice orange here. Maybe they're just going to stay, some trees stay green for a while, a little longer. So remember, you can do this with crayon. If you're doing it with crayon, make sure you're pushing nice and firmly so that the colors show up very bright. And the next step we will all use crayons, or you could even use colored pencils. So should I do a red tree over here, maybe? Just for something a little different. Well, when I do the hills and road, I am going to think about some patterns that I can also fill them with. For example, first, just like the smaller things in the picture, outline where you're going to go. And instead of just leaving this plain, I am going to add some lines. This time, this one I'm going to use some diagonal. Notice if something's in the way, like the pumpkin, you don't want to draw through that. We're going to fill each hill with a different kind of line, design, or pattern. So, and you can use different colors. In the fall, I was driving out in the country the other day, and I noticed that some of the fields were turning, the crops were even turning colors, just like the trees. Some of them were starting to change to gold or brown or orange. Now, because we're in art class, you can have a little fun with this and try using some different colors even. So there's a lot of really good artists out there to look at for inspiration on this project. If you're looking for patterns and design ideas, one of my favorites is Heather Galler. She's got some really neat, interesting things. So I've only done straight lines. What about if I do, I'm going to do this one right here. What would happen if I curved my lines? So you don't always have to use straight. Try using a variety of lines. It will make it more interesting for people to look at, and I think you'll have a lot more fun making it than if you made them all the same. And then maybe I'll try something really outrageous, like a blue hill. Sometimes in real life, colors will change when they get really far away. Maybe in this one I can do a zigzag. When you're making the lines, it's important that you, if you're using crayon, that you press firmly, but also that you don't get scribbly. So I don't want to see scribble lines in here. I want you to come up with lines that are neat and well thought out. So outline the area first, and then think of the design that you want to use. This one I'll do curvy. Remember, if the pumpkins are there, be careful not to go through them. If you want to actually outline the pumpkins right now, that would be a great idea. I'm going to use orange, but sometimes pumpkins are different colors. I've seen green pumpkins or peach colored pumpkins. I've seen white pumpkins. So you can decide. I think I'm going to stick with orange. That way people know what they are in my picture for sure, especially with everything else being such bright colors. I've seen some that are almost even red, some pumpkins. I'm going to do my silo. Let's do the roof of my barn. I think I'll do a brown hill over here. All right, so once you get the lines drawn in your picture and the patterns, I think I will outline this road in brown just so it stands out and people can have an idea what it is. Now, once you've got everything outlined and patterns drawn in them, then you can go ahead and start adding some other colors to your picture. I'm going to start with the hills. Now, if you like to have matching colors, you can do matching colors like green on green. Remember, it is important not to scribble. Now, if you were using crayon and crayon, you might want to use contrasting colors, and also you might have to be careful of the crayon smearing with another darker color. The nice thing about markers, I don't have to worry about them smearing once they are dry. Coloring in the same direction, so I'm kind of always coloring diagonal on this hill, helps my area, my hill look nice and neat. You can color even the small things. All right, I'll show you what this looks like once I get everything colored. I'm leaving the sky blank for right now. So I've finished coloring my land, my hill, and the objects on the land. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to add the colors in the sky. And I think today what I'm going to show you how to do is a sunset. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to use warm colors for that. Now, or it could be a sunrise. It's going to be sitting on top of one of the hills here, my sun. And we are going to be using the warm colors to color the sky. We're going to blend those together. Now I realize sometimes in sunsets you do see some of these other colors, but for today I want you to work on blending the warm colors. So you always want to start with the yellow because it's the lightest and then work your way. Sometimes you can even get into the red violet down here, but we're going to kind of work this way. So I'll start with my yellow, which I'm going to use right now for my sun. And I might even use a little bit of orange blended with that, just so that they look a little different than the rest of the sky. Has a little contrast. If you have a yellow orange, that would work great. You can kind of work on getting that exactly how you want it to be. And then after you've got your sun the way you want it to be, you're going to take yellow and you're going to color in a good portion of your sky with yellow. Now I like to kind of sometimes work like sunrise going out from the sun. Some people like to do it horizontal, as long as you're consistent with how you're coloring, which just means you're doing it the same way throughout the whole sky. It will look very nice. So I'm going to do my yellow a little more than I think I want it actually, because I'm going to do a little bit of orange blended with that. So I take an orange, and I could just start off coloring right next to it, but it doesn't look like those two colors are part of the same sky. So what I'm going to do is take my orange and I am going to color on top of my yellow just a little bit, very softly as it gets closer to the sun, so that you get to see the two colors blending. Now if you have a yellow orange, you could use yellow orange first and then move to the regular orange. I'm going to get even down in between. Notice that the sky color goes all the way down here to the top of the hills or the horizon. A lot of people think the sky color is only at the top, but if you've ever seen a sunset or a sunrise, you may have noticed that the color goes all the way down to the land. I'm going to put even a little bit of orange over here. So I'm going to make my orange a little bigger. I've got all the way to fill into over here, so I'm going to make larger area of space that I wanted to have just be orange. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend it with my next color. So yellow to orange, then to red. So I'm going to get my red, and I'm going to do like I just did with the yellow and the orange. I'm going to blend those two colors together. So I'm actually coloring a little bit on top of the orange. So you can see I've got yellow, yellow, orange, where the two colors mix, orange right here, and now I've got red and orange mixed together, which makes red orange. You might even have crayons that say that, red orange or yellow orange. So if you want to use those today, you can. And I'm going to color the rest of the sky red. But this is a very large area, so if yours is off to the side like mine, if you'd like to add a little bit more, well, if you want to blend one more time, you can use a little bit of your red. Let's see, this is red violet, so that we know this has red and violet in it. Or you could take your violet, you can read the colors on your label and see which one. I think I'm going to do this because I don't want it to be too purpley, too much violet. I want it to look pretty much like a very, now by using such warm colors in my picture, it does make my picture feel very warm. And I can blend that with my red too. Color on top of that red a little bit. Ooh, I missed this corner over here. So this was yellow, yellow, orange, orange. Maybe I can sneak a little bit of red on this side as well. All right, so I hope you've had fun today coloring with me and trying out some different patterns and learning a new way, perhaps for some of you, to color your sky. Skies can actually be in many different colors, so it's kind of fun to see different ways to do your sky, not always just to do them blue. And it does, when you use those warm colors of the sky, make your whole picture feel very warm. So I hope you've had fun today and enjoyed making this picture. I'll see you next time. Bye.